All right. So, good morning, everyone. We'd like you to welcome Mr. Thiagarajan for our first ever school Podar World College magazine. It's an e-magazine that we are publishing for the first time, and it is with his presence that makes our magazine even more better. So, without further ado, Meherdeep, if you'd like to proceed.
Yeah, hi, Meherdeep Singh. I'm in the second year. I'm studying BSc in Business and Management.
All right.
And Siddharth.
So, my name is Siddharth Satpadi. I'm also a second year student. I'm pursuing a BSc in economics. And without further ado, let us introduce our guest for our first ever e-magazine, Mr. B. Thiagarajan. Mr. Thiagarajan is the managing director for BlueStar Limited. He has earned a bachelor's degree from Madurai University in Electrical and Electronics Engineering. He completed a senior executive management course from the London Business School in 2006. He has over 3 decades of experience, having worked in L&T, BPL, and Voltas prior to joining BlueStar. He plays an active role in affairs of various industry forums and is currently the president of the Refrigeration and Air Conditioning Manufacturers Association, RAMA. He is also a member of the National Council of Agriculture of Confederation of Indian Industry, CII, chairman of the CII National Task Force on Cold Chain Development, and executive committee member of the Indian Green Building Council. We will now formally begin the interview for Podar World College's first ever e-magazine. And with that, a warm welcome to you, sir.
Good
Mr.
morning. Thank you
Thiagarajan,
very
how are
much.
you doing today?
I'm doing fine. Thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity. It's a pleasure to interact with you all and
Likewise, sir.
wish you all the best in this initiative.
Thank you very much, sir. So as you've said, you're doing very well. How, in your opinion, sir, is Indian industry and the Indian economy handling the pandemic and going ahead with, the slowly gradual opening up?
I am not an economist, but as an operating business manager, I think India is doing well, much better than my own expectations and expectations of many of my colleagues and friends. I thought, number one, it will take a long time for economy to bounce back. It has not bounced back, but you are seeing week after week recovery happening. And I think we are at about 60% level of last year, same quarter. And I think by Q4, which is January to March quarter, we should be getting back to last year levels. And given the nature of the pandemic, I think it is a great job we have done as a country. The government, policymakers, regulators, people of the country, and all the business houses, they have done well, I would say. I think next year we should be doing extremely well. To give you one information about BlueStar, that we were in Q1 at about 35% level of last year. That is in the month of June.
Right.
And but within that quarter, if you see the June month itself, it reached to 50% level.
Wow. Okay.
It is very likely that the second quarter we will reach somewhere close to 70% level, and Q3 can be 90% level. Q4 it can go back to last year. And we are in discretionary purchase category, right? If it is a air conditioner or refrigeration equipment, and so therefore, I think as a country we are doing well.
That's very good to hear, sir. Especially by Q4, we could expect the pre-pandemic bounce back that we all like to see.
True, and I'm not yet subscribing to the view it is a V-shaped recovery, though people believe it could be so, going by the stock market.
Right.
So the stock market is doing well based on the liquidity availability. And I suppose they are also smart. Quite often, stock market senses it ahead. And if people are betting on stocks of high valuations, quite a few stocks, if you see, it has come back to pre-pandemic level.
Right.
So that is remarkable.
Truly, sir.
Good to hear, sir. So moving on to the next question. Due to the pandemic, we have seen a considerable hike in geopolitical tensions around the world. And on those lines, given the recent state of the Indo-China relationship, would a further hike in import duty from 12.5% as announced in the budget affect BlueStar and other firms that rely greatly on Chinese imports for crucial components like, say, compressors?
I don't think so. First of all, the duty hike is about the finished goods.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
The components, everyone, it's a level playing field, whether it is a Japanese or a Korean or Indian company here manufacturing a product, the components come from China predominantly.
Right.
What is the reason? China created that ecosystem ahead of many other countries. So it is also the scale issue, right? So take, for example, air conditioners. Our market size is 7 million units.
Right.
And China's market size is 110 million units. So you can see the difference.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
therefore, they have got an ecosystem which is fully backward integrated. Now you have compressors. I think 70% of the world's compressors will get manufactured in China. And there are other items as well, like for example, inverter drives. Now, you need to create an ecosystem here so that you are able to indigenize everything. Now, the issues are many in this. Number one, is it a geopolitical tension arising out of China and anger towards China? I am not very sure at all. That is, you cannot blame a pandemic on one particular country, is my view, because there is no sufficient evidence to that effect.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Number two is that tension basically because China is self-centered and China is not a fair player in the global commerce, and China does a few things with the predatory or the state-funded subsidies and start dumping the material. If it is so, it is supposed to be regulated.
Very true.
Definitely, it should be regulated. Now, you cannot go ahead and say that I am now some duty on a component. Who is the sufferer? Your people will end up paying more price, right? It is because the manufacturer is going to pass on to the consumers. Now, it is you have to do something which is in the best interest of the country. So I keep telling this example. Okay, let us say I want to make pizza, and I am going to be buying all the raw materials. And I am going to be anyway eating one pizza at best. And because I don't have the scale of, 250 people to be fed. Now my time, raw material cost, everything put together, it will, if you really calculate, it will come to 400 rupees. Now in 150 rupees, if I can order and get a pizza, I should be very clear about what I am supposed to be doing. I should not be saying this is a pizza which I want to only make, I want to be self-reliant, is incorrect, right? What is in the best interest overall I am supposed to be doing.
Right.
Now, the government has understood this, that they know very well that finished goods people should make here. People should invest, people should generate employment, people should do substantial value addition. Now, if the value addition will multiply if you do the raw materials, please go ahead and encourage a raw material ecosystem by all means. For that purpose, there is a phased manufacturing program that is introduced. So under the phased manufacturing program, what is happening is over a 5-year period, there are duty hikes will take place on compressors or drives, electronics, so on and so forth. And during that period, ecosystem should get developed.
Okay.
I have again, because you are increasing the duty, nobody is going to be coming and investing. Number one, for you to create ecosystem, the scale is important, which means I make people consume more. And second thing is, I should be going ahead and making the product competitive, irrespective of the scale, which means being competitive with that limited scale can be possible only through research and innovation.
Okay.
Correct? So therefore, it is important for India to invest in research and development extensively, which is pathetic today.
Right.
So I need to create that culture within. Third is that in order to make the product globally competitive, I should be creating industry clusters. I should become high in ranking in terms of EODB.
Right.
That is ease of doing business. And it is important that you allow even Chinese to come and set up facilities here. So it is absolutely important that Chinese investments which are committed prior to COVID are allowed to flow, because you should not be shutting your doors. If they are going to come and set up a facility here, they are adding to your economy, they are generating employment, and your ecosystem is done with. We should not be resisting that even. Now, simply put, I think you will become self-reliant only by opening up. Your economy grows only by inviting people to invest in the country.
Right.
And we should become more investment friendly. If you take United States, that's what happened. They invited people, their economy grew by their opening up. By shutting down, you will never grow at all. That also government is open. Say for example, a very major compressor manufacturer has invested in Maharashtra. He is going to be coming in here. So the ecosystem will develop on its own if you do these measures. I am of the view, by hiking the duty, you cannot become self-reliant India.
Okay. That's very interesting, sir, especially
That's
when you put it in that
insightful,
perspective.
Very
Now, sir,
insightful.
you mentioned about indigenization and how India can further indigenize products. What, in your opinion, is restricting Indian manufacturers from manufacturing these components like compressors, drives, etc. in India, even with the government allowing up to 100% FDI in the electrical equipment industry?
So the first one is the scale. You know why people resort to or compelled to buy from China. See, first of all, we are a poor country.
Right.
And people are first-time buyers of many products. Like in air conditioners, 80% of the buyers are first-time buyers. And out of that, if you look at it, 40% of them buy through a finance scheme, a 0% interest scheme, installment scheme, like that. Now, for them, affordable product is something very important. Okay? That's why you will find in India, there is nothing called premium, right? That you will see the premium brands also fighting at the market at all price points. They compete on all those price points.
Very true.
So therefore, in order to be competitive, you have to drive down the cost. And China offers those components at a very attractive price. So first reason is that. Now the second one is if you have to invest in R&D, you need a scale again, because R&D is an expensive proposition. we can say that innovation can happen without a major investment also, but in manufacturing sector, R&D calls for terrific amount of investments. You can fight scale. That is, I need not have that kind of a scale, but I have got some patent, something which is unique. I can still do that. But then you have to employ people, you have to persist with. And innovation takes time. It cannot, just fall from the tree. So therefore, okay, the next thing is the cost of capital. In India, in the interest charges, is so very huge. And how do you, in any other country, the interest rates are 2%, 1% against average cost of borrowing here. If you put together, it is 12 to 15% when entrepreneur will end up spending.
Wow. Okay.
So this is where the problem is. So we need to be making it conducive for entrepreneurs to thrive. We have not done badly, in the sense that we have come a very long way in creating a manufacturing base in this country, dominated by MSMEs. We have done well. But for you to shift to the next orbit, you need to take different actions altogether. See, it is the first thing is the cost of capital, how I will make it available. Number two is that you need to look at research and development infrastructure, cluster-based development. Then go ahead and say, there should not be 15 approvals, 12 approvals, etc. All state governments are now working on how to make the lives of the entrepreneurs easy. They are working on it, and I suppose we will get there. And the infrastructure. Like take for example, a place like Aurangabad. It is into automobiles, it is into electronics. And the connectivity itself is pretty bad.
That's true.
We still have places where you can't reach. The infrastructure will be very poor. And so it is very important to create that infrastructure also. So our next phase of growth as a country, if it has to happen, huge amount of investments are needed in the infrastructure, research and development, and the cost of capital. And the ease of doing business. Yeah. Now, RBI has done a remarkable job, especially during this time. I will rate them second to none compared with any federal banks across the world. They stepped in time. They took several actions very boldly, and but still, I think it is the MSMEs are finding it difficult to get the capital. There is some interpretation issue. And so therefore, to sum up, we can become self-reliant. For self-reliant India, you need to open your doors and invite people to invest in. It is not shutting the doors, and including Chinese. They should come here and invest. They should comply with the law. I'm not saying you should allow them to flout the rules. You should make them follow the rules and create a level playing field. And even for Indian manufacturers to become competitive, they should be exposed to global competition here. See, within the consumer durable industry, we say, like BlueStar had been there, Voltas had been there in this business for quite many years. We blossomed as Indian companies only after the multinationals came in here, right?
That is true.
Till 2000, there was no innovation that was taking place. It's all incremental. Today, Indian air conditioning refrigeration companies shine. They can produce products on par with the multinationals because they are exposed to the competition. So
So,
that
sir,
is important. Second is cost of capital. Research and development, we should incentivize the people.
mhm,
And the next is the entrepreneurship development. And from the academia to industry, that linkage of how to convert them into entrepreneurs, that particular linkage is also very important.
right. So you mentioned about research and development. One question came to my mind. How can we attract students like from IITs, not just IITs, many colleges from India who would like to pursue research and not get attracted to say the US, where they go to pursue a postdoctorate and eventually settle down there and work in R&D there? What can be done in India to capture these bright minds that are going outside?
So it is already happening in pockets.
Mm-hmm,
The best example is IIT Madras. So those days, we all after engineering aspire to do MS in the US or MBA in IIMs. That's
mm-hmm,
how we were growing up. But today, I find that there are more and more final year students of engineering in IITs who want to become entrepreneurs. So these entrepreneurs are researchers themselves actually. They come out with an innovative solution or idea or a product, and IIT Madras is, I will advise you and your colleagues to visit that place. It's a place where third year onwards they begin. They convert their idea into a research and collaborate with the professors, and by the time they are in fourth year, they have the roadmap. There are industry leaders who are mentors for them. And in that entrepreneurship development institute, they become entrepreneurs themselves. And even funding is arranged and the permissions are arranged. And so it is a seamless process from a student to become an entrepreneur. And he himself is the research and development guide. So look at, for example, the electric scooters or
mm-hmm.
drones for agriculture applications and affordable air purification solutions. Those are all happening there. Now the companies have gone there and set up their research and development center in that park itself. So I'm not talking about sitting in front of a machine or a computer and modeling something and thinking. Research and development and entrepreneurship should go hand in hand together. Or a business house should have uh, R&D not as a function standalone. Somebody is sitting and thinking. It has to be interwoven into business, and it should come with a value proposition. It should have a connect with the solution that the market is in need of.
Right.
And therefore, for creating this culture, I think the work has to commence from third year of engineering itself.
Mm-hmm.
And four is that you should be allaying the fears of becoming an entrepreneur. People would like to get employed somewhere rather than entrepreneur because A, access to capital, B, whether I will succeed. And now say, for example, if BlueStar wants to develop a controller
Mm-hmm.
that goes into an air conditioning refrigeration equipment, if I am to promise that Entrepreneurship Development Institute that, look, this is the one which I want to indigenize, can you develop it? And I am going to be assuring you this kind of a quantity, he will be interested in doing, because there is a company which is ready to buy his products.
That is
Correct?
true.
This ecosystem in IIT Madras is working. We have to see how many more can happen across. I am sure many other places which I am not aware of, it is already
Yes.
happening. But the government focus to for example, this refrigerants issue, ozone depletion, and there are two subjects there. There is ozone depletion.
Mm-hmm.
There is global warming. So for uh, ozone depletion substitute material, what happens is it pushes up the global warming potential.
Okay.
If you go for a global warming potential friendly refrigerant, ozone depletion will be high. It is inversely proportional.
Mm-hmm.
Now you need a refrigerant which is ozone friendly. Ozone depletion it will take care of, and it will not cause global warming, or in other words, zero global warming potential, zero ozone depletion potential. With that, if a refrigerant is supposed to be developed rather than getting imported,
Mm-hmm.
India should go ahead and take up this as a project. And if you do so, I am certain this is when we are able to crack Mars mission. I think this refrigerant may not be a big issue,
That is true.
and India is capable of doing it. So that focused research encouragement is not happening. So as a manufacturer, we are not into refrigerant. So we will look at which is the cheapest source available.
Mm-hmm.
It may happen to be China. We will end up importing.
Okay.
Right.
Now, if manufacturers come together and tell, let us say one research institution, you develop this refrigerant, we commit ourselves to buy, or create an ecosystem where the manufacturers are ready to invest in that collective warranty, because it is going to benefit the entire industry.
Right.
See, these models, US is good at these models. China did it by a government funding.
Mm-hmm.
That is how I think we should move forward.
All
Yeah,
right.
go
So,
on.
sir, going back to infrastructure with respect to the manufacturing sector, I'd like to ask in states like Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, where labor is readily available, a certain type of labor is, would the setting up of new special economic zones in these areas be a viable tool to enhance the Indian manufacturing capacity? To set up the ecosystem, like you said, would it help?
I definitely think so. The what a investor is looking for, whether first problem I think we in India we face is mm, an industry will come there during the regime of one government, and the if the government changes, he will get into quite a bit of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So this we face in quite a few states actually.
Right. Right.
And it is not that BlueStar has faced it, but I am saying generally the industry view is that I go there, but the government will change. At that point of a time, again, you will start low wall, etc. Number two is if the policies are transparent. So, in the sense that irrespective of the government, the policies will be one and the same with regard to the land rules, or with regard to the power, with regard to the subsidies that are applicable or taxation that are applicable. I think that shouldn't be an issue. Now, traditionally, certain places had, it came with some kind of issues which are unless and until is squarely addressed and we build the image for. Like, for example, see, this is similar to a multinational investing in India. So he has got option of China, Vietnam, Thailand, many countries, in which India is one. Same way within India,
Mm-hmm.
you have many states. The company has got a choice. I can be in Maharashtra, I can be in Uttar Pradesh, I can be. I think uh, for India to attract investment, India has to market itself, which they do. They go ahead and lateral missions. They make their value proposition clear in the sense this is a country with huge demographic dividends. So come and invest here, and we have a stable government. Our policies are clear. We will resolve your problems like that. So the states will have to do that, which they do. They do through their like vibrant Gujarat, or invest in so and so state, so and so state. It is a very healthy sign. All of them are competing.
Mm-hmm.
And they have taken it much more seriously. that they know very well that industry is important for me to grow the state's economy. Industry is important for me to generate employment. So therefore, this process is on. And in that context, I think Uttar Pradesh also is very serious about attracting investments.
Right.
And the infrastructure, given the complexities that we have in the country, I think it is going on smoothly. It can always be better. Specifically, the surface transport related investments, it is great.
Mm-hmm.
I think the airports, they have to go ahead and expedite it. The plans are there. Perhaps due to pandemic, it is slowing down. That we should go ahead and uh, fast track those projects.
Right.
I think power availability is improving steadily. And the question is that what we may perhaps take 5 years, how we can do in 2 years' time.
Mm-hmm.
That is where we will score.
Right.
Right, sir. So, sir, like you've mentioned, India's has a lot of competition when it comes to investing in, especially for firms leaving China, like from Vietnam, Thailand. In your opinion, what reforms in land and labor laws would make India more attractive to these countries to bring businesses that are wanting to diversify their supply chain and not just, be based in China?
It comes back again to the same, right? It is I see there is a great potential for this product.
Mm-hmm.
I see there is enough talent here. I see I can do business here easily. On all the three fronts, we are fulfilling. Number one
Right.
is that my market is huge. Like, for example, in China, the penetration of an air conditioner would have already reached beyond 60%.
Right. Right.
In India, the penetration is just 6%. So
Mm-hmm.
94% more people, forget it, even 94, 30% more people buy also, the market will explode. So there is an opportunity here.
Right.
Second is that I have talent. So I don't think, I doubt that at all. In India can showcase that we have better talent than many other countries in many other sectors. Is the labor cheap? Labor is cheap. And whether I can announce a project and do it in just 18 months, my factory is running. I think there is a problem out there.
Mm-hmm.
They will get stuck with some approval. And so there is, you're looking at a country where they can build anything in about 3 months' time. They can even set up a factory. And with that country, when you compete, you have to step up your standards.
Mm-hmm.
I'm finding quite a few governments, like for example, Maharashtra government, driven by MIDC, is doing a remarkable job. It is single window. Go with a commitment, you can get things done, and they are giving you a relationship officer. That relationship officer will get it resolved with all the departments. You need not run around every other department.
Mm-hmm.
I think the states are stepping up their efforts towards this, and we will get there. The fact of the matter is, India, specifically even Maharashtra, is attracting a lot of investment from multinationals.
Right.
It starts from this fact that I have a huge market to address. I have the talent, and I can go ahead and set up my factory and start the operations quickly. And this confidence is building up, but we have many more to do. We will get there, but all that I'm saying is we should fast track everything to say and market ourselves we are. If Vietnam can do it, why we cannot do it? What is the
Indeed,
big
sir.
deal?
Absolutely.
Indeed.
Absolutely. So, going back to our prior discussion on the IIT Madras topic, we have already established the fact that there are many students who are aspiring to become entrepreneurs. So, with that in mind, what skills would you say that students should focus on, to achieve that goal of becoming a good entrepreneur? Whether it's from a more generalist approach or a specialist approach, what would you say?
See, I'm little bit philosophical, little bit the right word is pragmatic,
Right.
and little bit ambitious. My answer will be like that. So
Right.
the first one is that I can make more money than being employed by someone.
Mm-hmm.
This confidence has to come to the people. Okay,
Confidence. Okay.
which is a function of I am able to take risk in life. Now, the fact of the matter is that as an entrepreneur yourself, you will be better off.
Mm-hmm.
Because what is the guarantee in today's job? That the companies also can suddenly hire people, fire people. Okay. Now, therefore, I'm not saying that nobody should get employed. All that I'm saying is that we should attract more people to become entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
Number one. Number two is that he should do what he is passionate about. He should not be forcing himself to be doing something which he is not passionate, because that passion is very, very important. Third thing is that it is wrong and it will be futile to be thinking about something which is a shortcut. While quick wins are legitimate, looking at shortcuts to make it big, like for example, somebody getting a date where I will get a PE funding and how I will go ahead and make more money, because everybody cannot be Facebook or correct. So
Right.
you need time, energy, and therefore you should not be looking for some shortcut to win in this. Next is that I think it is important to have mentors, and same way the mentors also should come forward to handhold. Okay, and as the corporates should as it should, they should not look those entrepreneurs as vendors alone. They should set aside some kind of some portion of their CSR efforts towards entrepreneurship development. And the next one is the from the policy perspective. Government is doing a lot about the startups and the MSMEs. They are, and they should further guarantee their the investments that these entrepreneurs are making
Mm-hmm.
based on a screening process. I'm not saying blindly support it. They the innovation and what they can do to build the new India should be recognized. And I think many initiatives have begun in that direction. And next is that you whether one is um, uh, stuck to some place that I won't move out of Mumbai, I won't move out of Delhi, and I'll be here only. So there are that kind of things I find in today's generation. But the question is that you need to conquer, and if you have an idea, you should be in the right place. Say you yourself mentioned whether UP will be a
Right.
destination where you will get land cheaper and labor cheaper, and
Right.
you will be more productive. Yeah, Mumbai boys should be ready to go to UP and start it. And but I find they get stuck on some ideas that I will not like to move out of. But then within BlueStar, I keep telling the new joinees, the graduate engineering trainees or management trainees, that their see uh, the relationships should be uh, driven through heart. Okay, the businesses should be driven through the head. Correct. What is the best possible way to move forward?
Right.
And in that context, um, the see the parents will will be guiding their sons and daughters to do a few things, and they do it with extraordinary affection. But the boys and girls should do fine. You need that protection and love and affection and the respect. But when it comes to the career, they have to take their own decisions and stand by that. Now, in that context, like for example, there are many boys I know and the girls who the parents say, now you go ahead and buy an apartment under EMI. Now, there your career is done because you have that EMI burden on you, and right from 25 years you will be paying EMI for the next so many years. It's not worth it, and you know very well buying a house, borrowing money through EMI is not worth it. And so I keep advising the people, look, at your age, you invest in yourself, make yourself comfortable, go out and see the places and qualify yourself and experiment with quite a few things rather
Mhm.
than paying the EMI.
Right.
When you want a house, it will come. So therefore, anyway, it is a personal choice. But what I feel is that you need to. You can be. You can go ahead and get yourself employed also. But then set a goal that I would like to be a CEO of this company one day. Your yardstick has to be very, very high, and the where the economy grows, how the whole thing blossoms is through dreams and aspirations, and there they need the guidance that I want to. I know very well that everybody cannot become CEO, but the thing is whether one has set their goals very high. That is
Right.
important.
Right. So, like you said in your time, where you had many of you all had the aspiration once doing engineering and then going for an MBA, to further their career. Right now, a lot of students would like to go outside to foreign universities to broaden their horizon. And you, having studied at the London Business School as well, how relevant would you say is an international exposure, especially learning, help in dealing with the day-to-day dealings with Blue Star or in general with the industry?
First of all, I am not a person who believes that qualification is important. It is uh, it gives you a platform to learn, but the learning
Absolutely.
can be done without any kind of qualification. And the thing is, to be very honest with you, that I don't think that I wanted to get employed in a company at all.
Hmm.
Uh, my mother was a teacher, and my ambition was to pursue teaching profession.
Right.
And unfortunately, when I completed my engineering way back in '79, my mother passed away, and therefore I had to go ahead and seek a job. Uh, it was accident that I had
Really sorry to
to
hear that, sir.
job. And the question is that when I joined, whether I had the aspiration to become something, I doubt very much, because I hail from a middle class family. I came from a place called Thiruvarur in Tamil Nadu, in Tanjore district, and I didn't have any mentors to begin with. So the thing was, when my first job was at the Lost and Tobruk in Chennai. The thing is that how much more I can do and to be emulating the others out there. That look, my bosses are doing this kind of job, whether I am capable of doing. So in and for me, the life became the office, whether it is Saturday, Sunday, day, night, because I was so much excited about that job. And I think I won the hearts and minds of the senior management out there in L&T. That look, I became famous for trying to do somebody else's job, and there is enormous amount of enthusiasm out there. And then the question is. It was a great company because big mistakes committed by me were taken very professionally, and it was I don't think anybody would have even raised their voice, even though the company would have suffered due to my error. Say, for example, I will tell you that in a particular tender, there are perforated cable trays. You know, the cable trays, there will be perforation, and it is to be quoted on per kg basis. Okay. Now, the customer will pay based on the weight of the cable tray, right? Per kg of cable tray is going to pay. Now, when you do the cost, when you want to do it, you will take the full weight of the tray, correct? And you've done the perforations, which means some 40% of it has gone. It is not going to be paid for. Now, in one particular tender, I had done that particular mistake. That is, I didn't account for that when he pays, he won't pay for this particular one. Correct?
Right.
L&T still executed it. It was the learning for me. And then when you have in another job, I think one was a Kudramukh iron ore project near Mangalore. One more I remember is the Salem steel plant, where the earthing grid, you know, for the electrical earthing, you need to do a jute serving, because before burying that underneath with the jute cloth, it will be wrapped up.
Right.
So the jute serving was completely forgotten by me.
Oh.
In a huge steel plant, it is very, very expensive to make up for.
Right.
Like that, I can tell you many things which after 40 years I remember. So these are, and the question is, you are not lofted. You were taught it is a learning process, and the company would have incurred loss or got compensated by the customer partially for my mistake. Now, converting me from an engineer to a manager is the credit goes to Voltas. And I think I had extraordinary leaders within Tata Group and Voltas specifically, teaching me quite a few things and helping me migrate from an engineer to a manager. And a manager to leader also, it happened in Voltas. During that journey, I had wrong priorities. Like, for example, some point of a time, I didn't like a place. I didn't want to go to Delhi and work. But at some point of a time, I didn't like the boss for whom I worked. And some point of a time, the business group for which I was working, I didn't like. But then there were mentors. In fact, I was made to go back to Delhi to prove myself. because it was mentioned to me, look, forever in your career, they will say you can run south or west well, but north you are not capable of running it. It's a different business environment altogether. So you please go and work in Delhi. So again, I went to Delhi to work. Now, in making you a rounded person, therefore, I don't think it is the education. It is you are being versatile. I can run this business, I can run this function, I can do any kind of job. That versatility is very important so that you are a real general manager.
Right.
Number two, move around and work in different places. Number three, I think staying in the same company will not make you shine at all. You should switch jobs. You should work in many companies, and that does the justice to the company, even in my view. And lastly, that you should be passionate about what you are doing, and you should be trying to do it differently each time.
Right.
And if you are not enjoying, I think it is not worth it. We should not become routine employee doing the same thing month after month. There should be no joy in that at all. You should seek out to say that I can do more. And finally, I hold the philosophy that career growth is not your manager's responsibility. It is in the individual's hand itself.
Right.
And where who can miss you if you have talent and if you are upgrading it every now and then.
Absolutely. Right. Very insightful, sir. Thank you for that. You've kind of described the perfect entrepreneur and the perfect student, aspiring for success. That's really insightful. Thank you for that. Shifting gears a little. Sorry?
The true success mantra, learning, experience.
And confidence as well. You need to have the confidence. Don't forget that. All right, sir. So shifting gears a little, as a member of the CII National Council for Agriculture, we see that the monsoon is now at its peak in many parts of the country. Would you say a good harvest this season could be the catalyst for the economic recovery we need, especially in the rural economy, to kickstart demand?
So first of all, this year I am not heading the Agriculture Council. Of course, I am the Deputy Chairman for the Western Region. I am part of the Agriculture Council and many other council in which I work. That apart, I think we see a clear correlation between monsoon and agriculture production. And the monsoon is good. And the tier 3, 4, 5 markets respond very well. Their demand grows. And I think even today during pandemic, I see the tier 3, 4, 5 towns doing much better than the big cities. Also, in the new context, whether in a connected world, post-pandemic, I think many of us would like to focus on the rural markets because people will migrate there rather than coming to the cities.
Right.
And this year, I think we will have record production. And we are not anymore hearing many farmer crisis kind of a thing. Practically in the past 2 years, the government has done a lot of things for the farmers. The new reforms that are on the anvil, that is one market across India and the ENAM portal and the farmer producer organization as a concept, these are all working. Modernization, mechanization is taking place. My pet subject is farmer producer organizations, where group of farmers come together to produce or do value addition. And there is a lot of money to be made in post-harvest um, value addition. And BlueStar here supports the women FPOs. Like we have in a place called Kadalur in Tamil Nadu and Raniket in Uttarakhand. We support more than 600 women entrepreneurs who have come together and with great uh, dedication do a lot of value addition. So they are shareholders in that, and they do physical work, and they have created a brand for their produce. And instead of being a free labor for their husbands doing work in the field and looking after household work, we are giving them that pride that you can process food, and we are doing the forward linkages as well. Like big companies can produce goods from them.
True, sir. So, sir, as you mentioned about entrepreneurs and the MSMEs, in the finance minister's COVID relief package, they mentioned that they would be now allowing no global tenders of up to 200 crores in any government project. Would you think this makes MSMEs stronger, or would this mean that they take on additional risk and make them more fragile?
Controversial answer. I do not think. See, first of all, government has not been paying well. There had been delays in payments, and therefore, somebody is excited about getting a government contract to scale up. I am not sure. The policy is done with a very genuine intention. There is absolutely no doubt about it at all. But I come from the school of thought that if you want to prosper, you need to compete effectively. And America is the standing example of that, not China. China is a state-funded subsidy, many other things. But here in the United States, it is the entrepreneurship through innovation or competition. And it is a place where the businessman will thrive. The market grows and grows and grows. And therefore, this measure is required. Yes, it is required. It will help some people to step up. But it is only it can only fill a gap for you. But if you want to grow, you should be able to compete. So somebody should tell me that BlueStar, you are importing this from Spain, this from Germany, this from China. And I can make this at this price, and this is my value proposition. So he will succeed.
Right.
And there is, we as a country, we import many stupid things. And there are a hell of a lot of opportunities. And therefore, I am not, it is a laudable thing by the government to introduce this. It will help some. But the real test is, I should be helped to compete globally.
Right. So healthy competition is a must for all of us.
Yeah, correct. So how you can shy away from the competition? You have to.
Right.
To that extent,
Absolutely,
the government should come forward that, look, if you want to be competing against this particular one, to fine, I will come and support you. Identify projects, identify the product clusters, which is what Maharashtra government is trying to do now. That is, look, what are all getting imported? Which sector we can go ahead and say it is made in Maharashtra is the best, or Maharashtra is the destination for. Like you have in China, right? That there will be a city meant only for furniture. There is another one which is meant only for cosmetics. where I can build competitiveness, then provide that ecosystem for them. And see, quite often we are handicapped by the testing laboratory itself. So, like electronics manufacturing, testing infrastructure, we do not have in the country. So the government should say, take the role of, look, I am giving you this infrastructure, but go ahead and push your bars to a very high level. I will be the destination, which Indian IT industry demonstrated that I am second to none and I can. So you have the equity out there. And in pockets, there are several people who have demonstrated. Like, for example, you take even the vaccine. So someone like Bharat Biotech to be saying that, yes, I will develop a vaccine and compete against many other giants and have passed through the initial phase of trial is remarkable.
Indeed, sir.
In this example, it is not that 25% of your produce I will buy, or I will not buy other country vaccine. That did not encourage Bharat Biotech, right? Bharat Biotech's passion is, I am second to none. I can compete with European, American, and anyone to produce a vaccine. And I am betting on it. That is the kind of spirit you will see in success stories. It is not IT industry grew by government giving a concession. It is not, right? The people saw the opportunity. People believed in their talent, then they went ahead. You will see in all success stories, it is not due to subsidy somebody grew.
Indeed.
Absolutely. Right. So, looking at the future of firms and the energy industry in particular, with India being the pioneer in solar energy and being the founder of the International Solar Alliance, how can ACs, water purifiers, air purifiers, and other commercial equipment be designed to run on renewable energy? And a follow-up to that, by 2030. Do you think India would be more energy efficient by relying more on renewable energy? I mean, you've spoken extensively on R&D. So, with regards to that, what do you think, sir?
So the number one is here. If you look at the carbon footprint, the big one is the automobile. With the advent of electric vehicles, automobile industry is not anymore a concern for the globe. Last year in September, on the sidelines of G7, I attended a meeting convened by the President of France. India will be a country where with huge growth in air conditioning will take place. Okay, because our penetration is poor.
Right.
And even if you take the buildings, we have only 1/3 of the buildings needed. There will be 2/3 more will be constructed. So air conditioning is under limelight for this purpose. Okay, while automobile has electric vehicles, unfortunately in air conditioning there is no technology equivalent to that. We do not think that solar is the solution. The question is still, it will be producing electricity to feed air conditioner. There is no way you will be able to prevent that unless there is a breakthrough innovation that takes place as far as air conditioning and refrigeration is concerned.
Right.
And there is a global cooling price. Which was announced last year for people to come together and innovate. Some work has begun towards that. Okay. Till now, the focus has been twofold. Number one is energy efficiency improvement through star labeling program. That is, keep on improving the energy efficiency, like the inverter technology, etc. That will take you only to some level.
Right.
Okay? But it has, say for example, if you had bought an air conditioner in the year 2000, if you are using it, if you are buying some inverter today, it consumes only 5% of the electricity it consumed. That is 95% reduction has been achieved, but that is still not good enough. You want the air conditioner to consume power equivalent to a ceiling fan.
Right.
Keeping in mind the penetration and the carbon footprint commitments, you need a completely different technology. I don't think renewable is the solution.
Okay.
Right.
Second thing is the buildings are getting designed differently. That initiative also be a progress in the sense green buildings is which CII drives very extensively through Indian Green Building Congress and Indian Green Building Council. It is a remarkable initiative that year after year gold or platinum rated buildings are going up and the governments are coming forward to give more FSI even for somebody coming out with the platinum or gold rated buildings. So these initiatives we should persist with. Simultaneously, we should look at one another aspect. It is not the equipment, it is how you maintain the equipment. If you are not maintaining your air conditioning systems properly, including the central or the residential one, over the years it will start consuming more energy.
Right.
Like in an air conditioning duct, the leakages may take place, the air water balancing will not be there. You will see in many places you feel suddenly too cold or suddenly too warm. These are all energy guzzling aspects which we need to get it right. Now, I am sure in the next 10 years, some other technology will come which will substantially reduce the energy. And therefore, while renewable energy are important in order to fill the gap in the electricity consumption, I do not think in air conditioning or refrigeration, it will have a role.
Okay. That's very different
On the
from
food
what
preservation, in food preservation also some breakthrough will happen. How do I extend the life of a fruit or a vegetable without actually bringing down the temperature? Today we know only bring down the temperature to preserve, but there are irradiation, that kind of technology. Some breakthrough will happen there.
Indeed, sir.
Preservation is important, right? Okay.
It's very interesting. When you were talking about air conditioners and the constant maintenance, I was thinking of myself. If we don't maintain ourselves, especially during this pandemic, by not keeping us healthy or fit at that point, we ourselves are ruining ourselves actually. So it's very interesting when you can give a very, I wouldn't say like a very small yet simple example between air conditioning and the human body itself. At times we feel cold, we feel hot. So, and so lastly for this interview, what is something new that you have learned during this pandemic?
Well, quite a few things. The most important thing is, you can't take things for granted at all. It is a real black swan event in lifetime. And it has fine. We will overcome this. Indeed, it is painful to lose so many lives during this pandemic. That is regrettable, sorrowful, and as a consequence of that, many people who have lost jobs or who are going through business or salary cuts. These are regrettable, painful, but the world will bounce back, and I pray for every one of us that we overcome this. But the big lesson is that you can't take things for granted, and the world can come to a halt through this event. First one, supplement to that is the remarkable resilience with which people across the globe health workers and the policymakers, administrators, and the government has responded to it. It is not an easy task. We may complain here and there about something, but it has been handled very well, I would say. Like, take for example, in India, other than the migrant labor issue, which came up, it was not it was unfortunate, but except that particular period of 2 weeks, you didn't see uh, much of a noise, or one wonders that so many people, they had lost their income, but still with great resilience they have coped with and come back, or slowly coming back.
Right.
And you didn't you we should be grateful to the people of this country as well as the policymakers.
Very true, sir. Very true. Thank you so much, sir, for sparing some time from your busy schedule for having this interview session with us. We'd really appreciate this for this highly insightful knowledge. And, we are privileged to interact with a leader like you. Thank you for that. And we wish you and BlueStar more success in the future. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. It was a pleasure interacting with you. In the process, I also learned. So all the best to you.
Thank you,
Take
sir.
care.
Thank you, sir.
You too.